Yo, it's your boy Luap coming back at it again with another video. In this video, we will recap and review Pokemon Journeys episode 95, Farewell, the Wandering Rocket Gang, as well as give my predictions for episode 96, Reach Out to Space, and Ferocious Light. If you guys enjoy episode reviews as well as recaps each and every week, then I highly suggest you hit the like button and subscribe as it truly helps support the channel. Before beginning with today's episode review, I want to give a big thanks to all helping me reach 5,000 subscribers. It's such a huge milestone, and I'm beyond grateful for it. Like seriously, we hit 4,000 last week for Erica's episode review, and we might even hit 6,000 for next week's episode review, so seriously, I can't thank you enough. Continuing with the continuity train from before, not only do we get BUTCH and Cassidy in this episode, but we also get Esophagel's return next week. This has been so surreal getting all of these returns, but fret not for new stuff because we will be getting Marnie and Piers in just a couple of weeks, and I'm excited for those episodes too. But with all that being said, let's start today's video by recapping the events of episode 95. This episode begins with Jessie, James, Meowth, and Wobbuffet working on their part-time jobs in a factory. When they go outside, they see Pikachu and the twerps, and Meowth wastes no time in capturing the electric rodent with their good old net. They call out their gotcha machine, but they only get Slackoth and Slacking, who just lay on the ground and refuse to attack. Lucario and Cinderace do quick work of Team Rocket, and multiple circumstances lead them to different kind of places. When they land in the forest, there's a funny scene of Jessie and James making fun of Matori, basically mocking her for telling her that they're failures, and then Jessie blames their failures on their horrible gotcha luck. I gotta say that another Pokemon that I low-key love is Team Rocket's Pelipper. After being blasted off for a second time, they land in the middle of the ocean and are swallowed up by a Wailord, finding themselves stuck. Team Rocket makes quick friends with a Chatot that has been stuck inside for a while, and after an accidental Hydro Pump from Pelipper, they are shot out. They soon find themselves riding a Mamoswine, and when night comes, they just fall asleep in the middle of the snow under the freezing cold weather. When they finally awake, Team Rocket find themselves sitting near a fireplace with the bountiful meal set for them. With all the adventures they went through, there's no doubt that they're hungry, so they devour the food on the table without thinking twice. Not long after, a woman with golden hair approaches them and serves them with even more food. They initially don't recognize her until James notices that she looks familiar. Cassidy then introduces herself and they get a flashback scene of her and Biff reciting their own version of the Team Rocket motto. Cassidy then explains that she left Team Rocket and settled on opening her own cafe business. The reason that she left was even though she was more elite than the trio, she was tired of failures and paperwork. We then get a cute frame showing sculptures of all of Cassidy's old Pokemon while she was in Team Rocket. Jessie, James, Meowth, and Wobbuffet decide to work in Cassidy's cafe for a few days until they see Pelipper flying around, which reminds them that they should continue their old business in Team Rocket. James is a little hesitant to leave the place, so Jessie suggests that he stay with Cassidy since they developed a good relationship during their time in the cafe. In tears, Jessie, James, and Wobbuffet go on their journeys until they stumble across a bakery. A female Meowth greets them, only to find out that the Meowth is actually Meowsy, who Team Rocket's Meowth had fallen in love with back in the day. Okay, it's actually not her, but it's a complete lookalike. A man then comes up to them and it's none other than Butch, who is shocked to see Jessie in this place. Jessie didn't recognize him, but when he introduces himself, Jessie immediately remembers him and calls him the wrong name. Jessie, Meowth, and Wobbuffet also work for Butch for a few days, and similar to what happened with James, Jessie suggests Meowth to stay there as he seems to have found the true love with Meowsy. Basically what Cassidy had told all of the group was Team Rocket isn't the only thing to life, and those are the same things being uttered to James and Meowth in these situations. Jessie and Wobbuffet are what's left, and their balloon blasts them off to a desert place. Jessie steps on a quicksand created by a Trapinch and is helpless without her friends. Out of nowhere, James and Meowth show up, telling them that they've left their respective jobs because Morpeko ate all of Cassidy's food, causing her to fire James, and Meowth experienced deja vu as Meowsy is actually in love with a Persian. James and Meowth also fall into the quicksand, when Pelipper throws the gotcha machine to the Trapinch and rescues Team Rocket out of their precarious situation. Conveniently, Ash and Go are in the same area, so Pikachu blasts them off to the factory that they are working at. And Team Rocket is back together again, and now for my ratings and reviews. So yeah, this was a really fun episode. To perhaps everyone's surprise, I'm gonna give this episode an 8 out of 10. Now usually I don't rate filler episodes too highly, but this was a genuinely fun episode. One gripe that I do have is that this episode was kind of advertised and marketed as a Bob and Cassidy episode, but they were only on screen for a combined less than 2 minutes of the runtime. To me that was truly a letdown. It was really nice to see them get over their phase of Team Rocket and move on with their life. I totally nailed my prediction last week that it would appear that our trio has moved on, but at the end of the episode they would be reunited at last. Pelipper is also a great character, and I do love that they expand on his character from time to time. Morpeko finally made an appearance after almost 20 episodes, but it was just a still frame, which is kind of another sad point. I really enjoyed this Team Rocket episode, and they were just so funny that they could carry an episode. It was dumb to have Ash and Go in the opening and closing 30 seconds. I would have much rather had it be only a Team Rocket focused episode. An Easter egg, which probably everyone caught but I want to sound smart, is that I caught that all the statues of Cassidy had adorned over a fireplace were Pokemon that she had used at some point. I think that the peak comedy at the episode was when Jessie and Wobbuffet were falling into the sandpit with Trapinch. Like, they were exaggerating their fall super hard. Like, I don't think they're gonna die just to a single Trapinch, but I thought it was funny anyways. What do you think of this episode? I think I might be crazy rating it so high, but I just thought it was genuinely a funny episode. That's enough for episode 95. Now let's give my episode 96 predictions based on the preview trailer. The preview begins with Ash and Go greeting Sophocles in what should be the Moss Deep Space Center. It's always nice to see Ash greeting and interacting with past companions, even if Sophocles isn't my personal favorite. We then see that Sophocles has some sort of Pikachu light, and Ampharos goes crazy. I think that these scenes aren't connected because when he shines the Pikachu light, we can see the Ampharos in the background. Ash and Go's faces when they get smacked in the head are also hilarious, and I love funny faces. The gist of the preview seems to be that there's a contest of sending a ship to space, at least that's what it sounds like. This Ampharos' dream is to have a bright light to be so powerful that it can be seen from space. We can see that its light is incredibly powerful, so I assume that its wish will come true. I wonder if it will be sent out to space and get its light out there, or it will be some sort of projector or something transmitting its light instead. Overall, this does seem like another filler episode, but after the craziness that was Legends Arceus anime, I don't blame it at all. Not to mention about the Andy-Poke news about what's coming next, I'd take fillers all day as long as it leads to an amazing couple of episodes. So yeah, that was my review for Pokemon Journeys episode 95, as well as my predictions for episode 96. If you guys enjoyed it, I highly urge you to hit the like button and subscribe. I make episode reviews every week just a few hours after the episode airs, so if you enjoy these reviews right after the episode, you know where to come. Today's comment of the day is, who do you like more between Burp and Cassidy? I'd easily say Butch, and I'd be surprised if someone said Cassidy, honestly. He's the much more likable character of the two, and whenever he's in the scene, it's just always much funnier. Again, if you guys made it this far into the video, I truly appreciate you, and as always, it's been your boy Luap, and I'm out. Peace.